Um, Hello, how are you? Are you hearing me? Hello, is everyone hearing me? Hello?
Hello.
Okay, welcome on board. I think we have three people that sign in, plus myself, four.
Mr. Ture, good afternoon.
Afternoon, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing okay.
Okay, I'm Jenna Baseka.
Okay, General Sheka, and where are you working?
At the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Foreign Affairs, okay, that's good. And so it's okay. Let's start with this. Let's try to introduce ourselves. Let's start with Geneva. Geneva just did. She works at Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We also have Ya Awanjai. If you could kindly go and introduce yourself, please. Ya Awanjai. Hello, Ya Awanjai. Are you hearing us? Okay, so someone can go ahead. I think I have four students here.
Yawa?
Are you all from
Yawa?
Foreign Affairs?
No, 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 no.
Okay. So we also have who again Ami Samba and another Ami as well. So anyone can go ahead and introduce yourself before I go on. I start the class. Jennifer, you are
Maybe it's
here.
the network connection.
The network connection. Okay.
Yes,
Okay. Let me.
yeah, yeah. For me, I'm hearing you.
All right. So let me go ahead and introduce myself. Actually, I have been lecturing with the CMIT for almost 2 years now, as a
Wow.
part-time lecturer.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give you some background where I've been working in past 3 years. Obviously, I did my undergraduate. That's BA. You are seeing a
BSDB?
white screen, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
So I did my BA in economics in Istanbul University in Turkey.
Ah, my country.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of foreign affairs workers coming there on missions. I received a lot of them when I was there.
Yes,
So
yes.
okay, then I did also my masters there. I did MBA
Mm.
uh, with a focus in finance and accounting. So I did this one in Yeditepe University. It's a private university. It was a 2 years program. I also
Okay.
simultaneously also I was doing masters in economics in Marmara University. So MA in economics. So this is my educational background. So I came back 2017, 2017. I came back home 2017. So I spent almost 8 years in Turkey.
Mm.
Yeah, so I spent almost 8 years there. I spent, I think, 10 months in Ankara, then the remaining period in Istanbul. So when I came back in 2017, I came back 2017, so I started with Access Bank. I was working at their finance department.
Mm.
So whereby I work as, I started as a deputy CFO. Then also,
Hello. Yes, are you
Yeah.
hearing me guys now?
Yeah,
Now?
yes, we are hearing you.
okay.
Sorry, I'm using my phone and my microphone was off. So I was trying to go to the settings and then turn my microphone off.
Okay,
My
who is
phone
speaking?
on.
Is it, we have, I think, two Amis here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
you know what happened to me, guys? I was about to start the lectures and electricity went off. So I then turned on my data to use my phone. But right now, I think like it's here back. So I will log into my PC right now to join the class. I think it's going to be better than my phone.
That's true. So what we are doing, we are trying to introduce ourselves. Geneva did. I'm trying to tell you. So I worked for some time with Access Bank as deputy and acting CFO. So
Wow.
I think I spent 2 years, 4 months with Access. Then I moved to Gaipa. So I was a project manager, project manager, project and appraisal manager. I didn't spend much time there, 3 months. So now I'm with Central Bank as an macroeconomist.
Macroeconomics, wow.
Yeah. So I'm with Central Bank since April this year. So I work with CMIT as a part-time lecturer. So I will be your lecturer for, this is an introductory course, economics. It's an introductory course. We are going to understand, look at how economic agents make choices. I shared with you the course outline and you can download it so that you can have a roadmap, what we will be doing in this course. And Jeneba Sekas has introduced herself, so we can give opportunity to others to introduce themselves as well, if they want, if they please to do it. So anyone can go ahead and introduce yourself. I think the class size so far, we have only 4 students. So the floor is open. The next person can go and introduce herself. I think the whole class we have females so far. So next person can go ahead and introduce herself, please.
Okay, my name is Ya Awanjai.
Okay.
I now work with NAWEC, that is NAWEC here.
Okay. That's good. You want to add more, which department you work, and what is your expectation from this course?
Using the computer. Hello, are you getting me, guys?
Yeah, we are. I am.
Yes. Wow, man like
you are muted.
Okay. Yeah. Awanja works at NAWEC, and that's good. That's a good team. And NAWEC just, electricity just went off here.
And I could not access my laptop. So I decided, so now it's like this.
Sue them.
All right. So good. And we also
sue them.
we have Amisamba. Is she online? Okay. And also we have, is it Ami Conte?
That's why.
Is it the connection? We have our Njai who introduced herself. She works at NAWEC, and we have Geneva Seka. She works at Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
I'm a protocol officer.
Protocol officer. Okay, that's good. You must know Lamin Suare, right?
Yeah. That's why when you said Togo, I said, our country, my country.
Yeah,
Lamin Suare is my colleague. We work together.
All right. Yeah. We started the same year in Turkey. We left the same year. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
He's my colleague.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so our Samba and Ami Conde, we couldn't get them to introduce themselves, and maybe they can do it if their connection is back or if they have the time to do it. So now let's start the course. It's an introductory course. Some of these things, those who have done economics in high school, you might see some of the materials as well. We will add a little bit of another layer to it. And so today the goal, lecture one, today the goal here is to understand what we mean by economics. You can take notes as well. Let's see this as a
back now.
So this, like what is economics, and we will get to understand what we mean by economics and why the concept, why the subject itself came about. We will look at that in great detail. So first, we need to understand the subject itself that we are studying. That is, what is economics? What do we mean by economics? So the other thing that I want us to look at is the market forces of demand and supply. Obviously, I'm sure you have heard about demand and supply. If you take it from economics, nothing will be left. The market forces of demand and supply. So today, this is what I want to cover. But of course, the second one is a large topic. But I will focus on the demand side of the market. So this is the core, what we want to achieve today. If time permit us, we will look at these two things. What is economics? The market forces of demand and supply. We will pay particular attention to the demand side of the market today. So let's go on with the first one. What do we understand by economics? So what is economics? So I don't normally like to give definition, people to cram and write something like that. The thing is to build the intuition of the students. So let's try to understand from our basic daily life. Because economics is something that we do on daily basis. So first, individual or human beings, you understand. So we have needs and wants as a human beings. We have needs. So before I give you the definition, let's try to build certain concepts or terminologies that are very, very important in economics. We have needs as well as we also have wants as a human beings. But we want these needs and wants to be satisfied. And what we use to satisfy these needs are what? Are the resources that are at our disposals. We have resources. And these resources can be anything. It can be time, it can be money or anything. So we use resource. We have needs and wants. We use resources, which can be time, money, or anything to solve these needs and wants. But the problem here is this: these needs or wants, they are what? They are unlimited. While the resources, which could be time, the time we have, or the money we have, or to even look at it at a broader perspective, we can call it wealth. So the resources that we use to satisfy our needs and wants are what? They are very limited or scarce. So because these resources are scarce, what is happened? Human beings, that is you, that is the buyers and sellers, and even at the government level, we are forced to what? To make a choice. So we are forced to make a choice. So economic agents So when we talk about economic agents, we are talking about the buyers. We are talking about the sellers. So buyers, sometimes people call them consumers. Sellers, sometimes people call them producers. And even government, they are all economic agents. So we have needs. The buyers, sellers, and even government, they have needs. These needs are unlimited, but the resources they use to satisfy these needs are unlimited, and a choice must be made. So buyers, sellers, and government, they must make choice. Buyers must make a choice whether to consume or save their money. Sellers must make a decision whether to increase production or not. As well as the government also make a choice whether to construct a school or a hospital, because the resources are limited while these ones are unlimited. So this choice, so the study of this choice is what we call economics. So the study of how economic agents, and when we say economic agents, remember we are talking about these three groups. How economic agents make a choice. It's a study of how economic agents make a choice. How do they make a choice? And when we talk about choice, we can equally say the decision. How do they make a decision? Because government has to make a lot of decisions, whether to establish or whether to construct a school or a hospital. For a seller, whether to increase production or not. For a buyer, whether to save or consume. So they make these choices. So what economics is trying to do is to study this choice process of buyers, sellers, and government. So this is what economics is all about. If these resources, they are unlimited, then there will be nothing like a subject like economics. If the resources are unlimited, then we will not have any subject like economics, because we will be able to satisfy all our needs and wants. So one can even confidentially say that the subject economics came as a result of what? Limited resources or scarcity of resources. Had it been that these resources that we use to satisfy our needs and wants are unlimited, just like our needs and wants, then there will be nothing like a choice. So the subject economics that study the choice processes of economic agents, it will not exist in the first place. So based on what we have seen here so far, let's try to define economics. So we can go and define economics as what? So So we can define economic as what? Is the study of how economic agents, remember, when we talk about economic agents, we are talking about producers, consumers, and even government make choice in a marketplace. So this is what economics, whatever you do, whatever you study economics, whether it's an undergraduate, BA level, or master's or PhD, this is all what you will be doing. It's about, we are trying to understand how economic agents, these people, how they make choice in a marketplace. So it's the study of how economic agents make choice in a marketplace. So we need to study what? 3 things in economics. First, we need to understand economic agents. First, we have buyers. We also have what? Sellers or producers. So we need to understand buyers' behavior. So we need to understand what? The choice process, or we can even say it in the behavior of buyers. We will study this, this is what economics does. We study the behavior of buyers, or the choice, which is the same as their choice process. We also study the behavior of sellers. Government also comes into play. So government, normally they act as a kind of referee. They want to see that the laws of marketplace is being observed. So we want to understand what they do. They have policies, put policies and regulation in place, and regulation. So we want to read and understand how these policies and regulation of the government affects the behavior of buyers and sellers. So we have these 3 economic agents. So what economics does is to understand or study the behavior of these 3 group of economic agents in where? In a marketplace. So this is what economics is all about. Forget about all the jargons you are hearing from television, from anywhere, whether it's PhD holders, whatever they are talking is within these two lines here. It's either they are talking about the behavior of buyers, or they are talking about the behavior of sellers, or they are talking about the government policies. And government policies is meant to do what? To make sure that the sellers don't exploit buyers and buyers don't exploit sellers. So government is an economic agent, but what they do, they set policies and regulation within the market so that there will be some kind of organization within the market. They act as a referee. And these policies and regulation, later on we will see how they affect the welfare of the buyers and sellers in the market. So this is what economics is all about. It's just we are trying to study how buyers and sellers make a choice in a market. All the mathematics you will be seeing in economics, they are trying to quantify what? They are trying to understand the behavior of these 3 people or 3 group of people within the marketplace. So this sum up the introduction to economics, what is economics about. So whatever we will be doing going forward, it will all be based on this definition. So if you looked at it, if we go back to what we want to cover, like market, here, this is chapter 2. Obviously, we have to study what demand. And when you're talking about demand, it's talking about the behaviors of buyers. When you talk about supply, it's talking about the behavior of suppliers or the producers or the sellers. So then these 2 people, these 2 group of people, they have to interact in the market. So when they interact in the market, then we will have a government that will observe their behavior, so ensure that the policies, the competition policies and regulation is being observed by all of them. So whatever we are doing, we will be operating within this definition. It's either we are studying the behavior of buyers or studying the behavior of sellers and looking at some government policies and regulations. So this is what we will be doing here until the last day in this class. So I will stop here. If you have any question, you can ask before we move on to look at demand and supply. Any question or anything you want to comment as well? Let's make the class interactive. Most of you are working in government, you have that wealth of experience. So let's share it as well. We can learn one or two things from each other.
Mr. Ture, I think Geneva is out of the class, and I'm seeing another icon here, but I don't know if the person is in.
Let me see.
Because your turn on.
We have our Enjoy, and I don't know who is using iPhone. The name is not there. So who was talking? Was it Yawanjai?
Yes, Yawanjai.
Okay, so we have two students that are currently in class, active. I think it has to do with internet or light, something like that. So basically, basically this is what economics is all about. This is what we will be doing to understand the behavior of buyers. You understand the behavior of sellers, and to understand how government policies and regulation affect these buyers and sellers within a market.
Yes, understood.
All right. So from here, we can go on and start. So what we just did is the introduction to economics. Now we looked at chapter 1. Chapter 1, if you look at your course outline, it's about the market forces of demand and supply. In short, it's just about demand and supply. So exactly, which of course, if you take that from demand and supply, if you take it from economics, nothing will be left. I think all of you can agree with me with that.
Yeah.
So the market forces of supply and demand. So if we looked at this, you understand, first we need to understand like the heading to know the roadmap that we will be using. So what we are trying to do is very simple. We are trying to look at remember I said what supply and demand. Anytime you hear supply, remember it's always talking about the sellers or the producers or the farms. You understand? The producers in the market or farms. These names can be used interchangeably. So when we talk about demand, we are talking about the buyers or the consumers. So these names, they are used interchangeably in economics. Some people call them households. So it's important we also build our terminologies. So first of all, what we are trying to do here, we are looking at demand and supply. And when we when we talked about demand, always we are talking about the behaviors of buyers or consumers or households. So first of all, this is our chapter 1. What we will be looking at here, the first part. By the way, the Zoom every 40 minutes it goes off, but once it goes off, you can always log in, which I will do as well, so that we can continue with the class. So that's the menu that just pop up. So once it goes off, I will log in again, then we can continue with the class. Okay. So we have this. So first, under this chapter 1, we will look at the behaviors of. We will look at demand separately. We will also look at supply separately. What does that mean is that we will study the behavior of buyers separately. We looked at the behavior of suppliers separately. Then we bring them together, because when you bring demand and supply together, then you have a market. But we have to study them separately, and then we bring them together to have a market. And in that market, we will have something like equilibrium price and quantity. But we will see all this as times go on. So on the chapter 1, we will start with what? Also, I have reading materials I will share with you after this class. That will help you as well. So first, we will have to look at here what is a market. And market and competition. So we have to know what is a market before we start understanding the behavior of buyers and suppliers. So this is the first thing that we will look at. So first, we need to know what is a market. So also, we will also need to look at the type of competition. Are you hearing me very well?
Yes, we're getting you.
Okay, the light is back, the fan is on. I think it will disturb you people. So we also need to understand types of competition that you will find in a market. So these are, so let's look at what is a market. In economy, what do we mean by a market? So it's a very, you can define this in many ways, but remember, when we talk about market, it's a group of people. But this group of people, we can classify them into two. We can have buyers and sellers. So when we talk about market, it's a group of people. We can even say like this, a group of buyers and sellers. So it's a group of buyers and sellers of a particular, you can say of a particular goods and services. So you will realize that when we talk about market, we must have two groups of people. So we must have buyers and sellers that come together to form a market. So it's just a group of buyers and sellers of a particular goods and services. So for a market to occur, at least we must have buyers and sellers. So the one notion about market, a market can be a fixed place. Like, for example, Serakunda, where buyers and sellers meet. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a fixed place. We normally see ice cream sellers. They don't have a fixed place. You have a lot of different ice cream sellers. They go around. And, people, when they meet them, they buy. So market can be a fixed place, or even a place that is, you have different sellers going around and they are meeting with their customers. Like just ice cream sellers. So if you look at ice cream market, the sellers, they are not fixed in one place. So, but the notion of market is like, okay, I'm going to a market like Serakunda. Market can be a fixed place. It can also be a mobile one as well, just like ice cream market. So this is what we need to understand when we say market. So obviously, market is a place whereby buyers and sellers also interact. You can only have a market when you have sellers and buyers. If you only have sellers and no buyers, you cannot call that a market. So when we talk about market, it's a group of buyers and sellers of a particular goods or services. So in a market also, demand and supply will interact, as you will see. So buyers and sellers interact to buy a particular commodity. So this is what we need to understand about the market, the features of market. So if we know what is a market, we also need to understand the competition that takes place in a market. There's a competition between what? Buyers and sellers. Sellers compete among themselves, and buyers also compete among themselves to get the products from the sellers. So what kind of competition do we have in a market? So we will look at, some people call it market structure. So the competition, market competition, we also looked at market competition. What kind of competition do we have in a market? So normally we have 4 to 5 competition that normally occurs in a market, or types of market structure. So, but let's look at the 2 extreme cases. The first one that we have normally is the perfect competition. That's an extreme case. And another case we have is monopoly. Another extreme case. So within these 2 extreme cases, we have 2 other ones. The other one is what? Monopolistic competition.
Okay.
And the other one we have is what? Oligopoly. So these are the type of market competition or market structure we have in the market, and they come with different features. So if we looked at this, you will realize that for perfect competition, there are certain criteria that a market that has a perfect competition. First, it must have many buyers and sellers. Another feature, it must have products are the same. They sell the same product. And normally, because they have many buyers and sellers, and they have the same products, so they are price takers. So buyers and sellers are what? Price takers, meaning that none of them can influence the price that exists in that market. So they are price takers. So, but when we come to the monopoly, normally we have what? A one seller. We have one seller, and the seller what controls the price. So NAWEC used to, even now, NAWEC is a monopoly because they are the only enterprise that are supplying our electricity needs. So NAWEC is still a monopoly.
And water.
Yeah.
It's a monopoly.
Exactly. So when you come to the electricity market, it's a monopoly. The market structure is monopoly in the Gambia. Television broadcasting used to be the same before.
Monopoly, yeah, but now it's different.
Exactly. So, it changed. So it changed from monopoly to maybe